Hey peeps! So I have my jades out. Well, most of them anyway. So, this is going to be a repot me video, in case you haven't already guessed, because I've got all my supplies out there. But, yeah, so this came about because I noticed that these plants were starting to look a little bit disproportionate to the pot size. Now, I could do one of two things. I could either just prune it back and keep them this size, or I can up the pot size. Haha. So I've decided, because I don't want to keep them that small, maybe I'd like them a little bit bigger. I'm going to up the pot size and maybe do a little bit of trimming, maybe take some propagations, and yeah, have them grow a little bit more, because I do actually want them, I don't want them to be huge, but I don't want them to be this size, except for maybe this guy. I'm going to keep him in this pot, maybe trim up his roots a little bit and just refresh his soil a little bit, because he's looking a bit, he looks like he's had a growth spurt, so maybe I'll tidy up his roots a little bit. And this guy I'm going to put into this slightly different pot here. It's a bowl, because I noticed the way he's growing, that's just screaming bonsai. And if I was to put him in another pot, he's going to get bigger, he's probably going to get wider, and a pot like that, it's going to be the similar problem with getting disproportionate. So I think if I put him in a slightly wider but shallower one, I can achieve a slightly larger bonsai look, because again, I don't want them to get too huge, but I do want them to be a little bit bigger, same as these guys here. So as I'm doing this one-handed, I'm going to have to show you in phases, so I'll take them out and show you how it looks at each stage, etc, etc. If you follow my videos, you know the drill by now, but yeah, just a heads up on how it's going to be. So I think, seeing as I'm itching to see what it looks like in here, I'm going to start with the Golem Jade here. So you can see I've taken a couple of little cuttings here and here, and that was mainly because he was really starting to grow out this way, and I want him to kind of grow a little bit more up than out, and partially because space reasons. Now I've already gotten rid of a few plants, but I think I'm going to need to get rid of a couple more, because it's not that I don't like them, but I feel that having too many plants is a little bit stressful with the limited space I've got. And not only that, I don't want them to feel like a chore. I want to enjoy them, so I think a few plants are on the rehome list, unfortunately, but I'll keep you up to date with that. I digress. So Golem Jade, we're going to get him out. Like I said, I haven't repotted him so long ago, so the soil is still good. I'm probably just going to reuse what's in here, because he doesn't have any pests or diseases, and like I said, the medium really isn't all that old. And we're going to put him here. So I'm just going to go ahead with my trusty knife and just ease around the edges like this. Ideally you should be doing this when the soil is dry, but I watered this, I think it was yesterday, and oh wow. So I'm just going to go ahead and just get them out like that, but I can't do it one-handed. So, okay, so I've picked away the ball of dirt, and it's all in there. So you can see he's done some nice root growth. That's cool. He's happy and healthy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some sand and some pebbles and some extra cactus and succulent soil, and we're going to mix it up in this bowl here with these orange chips here. These are a special horticultural clay called Ceramis. I don't actually have any in stock anymore at the moment, but this is an example of what I usually do for that little bit of extra drainage. Like I said, this is just horticultural clay, and it's called Ceramis, and it's a special product from Germany. I think it's only mineable there, if I'm not mistaken. But you can use anything like perlite or puffed pumice rock or vermiculite or anything like that. And what I do is I usually mix these little clay balls, some of these ceramist clay pellets, some sand, but when I mixed this I clearly didn't have sand, and some standard cactus and succulent mix. So that's all I do for my mix. It's fairly simple and it's inexpensive. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rest him in his old pot, just sitting there like that. And what I'm going to do is grab the cactus and succulent mix. You can't see this, but I'm actually opening the packet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very awkwardly grab my sack of balls. Giggity. Yeah, I know what I said. So in they go. And a couple of handfuls of sand, like that. And some soil. And just mix. Get it all mixed together. Bit of old and new. Doing what earthworms do, basically. Except for pooping it out. The poop is good though, worm poop. Need to know where to buy some worm poop from, actually. Anyone in Belgium that knows? Where do you buy worm poop? Let me know. Or worm castings to sound a little bit more correct or professional. I like to call it worm poop. Say it as it is. I'm talking about shit. Right, so I'm going to place him in there like that. Okay. And I'm going to... Yeah, I'm impressed I'm doing this one-handed. Are you impressed, peeps? I'm impressing myself. This is usually what you'll miss when I kind of cut from one task to the other. You miss me talking about shit. Okay, now I'm really going to need to do this with both hands. So, just a sec, peeps. Ta-da! And there he is. Nice and snugly in this cool new pot. And I must say, I'm loving how he looks in there. That's actually a nice... It looks as good as I imagined. But the one thing that was kind of getting to me was how much empty space around him there is. So I thought, brainwave. So I have here this small cutting of a Crassula marginalis rubra, the variegated form. You see he's so cute. So he's not very big, but I think, you know, they require the same care, so why not? This would actually make a really cute ground cover or top dressing cover, a living top dressing. So you know what, I'm going to take him out of this little pot here, and I think I'm going to put him in there and let these guys grow together, because I think that's going to be a lovely little combination. And there they are. So I've just kind of split them up and hopefully they propagate. I think this part, and where is it? I think, yeah, this part here is the only part with some roots on it. So hopefully the rest propagate. I heard even the leaves propagate quite easily. So here's hoping. And just for the lols, I've put a little Activaria opalina there. So it can grow in there for a little while. We'll see how it goes, because I think this plant here, the Crassula marginalis, it's I heard it's slow to get going, but once it does, it can grow quite rapidly, so we'll see. We'll see. If anyone knows a bit about this plant, feel free to give some info, because this is the first time I've ever had this particular I can't speak, particular plant. So I'm just learning about it, but I'm excited to have it because I think that's going to be a nice complement to the Golem. So yes, moving on. Okay, so the Hummel's Ghost, this guy right here. Must say this one is my favourite, I must say. So this guy didn't have any roots when we planted him up, because, well, we didn't do it on video, I'd done it off camera because he was just... Oh no, wait, he did have roots, just not many, but he's grown more roots. That's right, I didn't cut this one, he was his own individual plant. So, oh, we've lost a leaf. What we're going to do is we're going to set him in here. I've got the soil already mixed and set at the height I'd like him to sit. So we're going to set him in like that, and then we're going to tidy him up a little bit. Oh, and he fell over. Wah, wah. So he's standing on his own in the new pot, so I think what I'm going to do, is if I can show you, is I think I want to remove this branch here, because he's getting a little bit too wide, so I want to make him a little bit more compact. So I'm just going, I think, yeah, this branch here is definitely going to go, so I'm going to need both hands to do that, guys. Okay, things escalated. So I decided as I started cutting, you know what, I'm just going to give this guy a hard prune and put him back in his normal size pot. One, for space reasons, and two, I think this pot is a whole lot oversized for having that as it is without, well, with all the things that I cut off there. But we're going to do something with those in another video. So this escalated and I decided to go with a hard prune, and hopefully he'll grow back a bit stronger and a little bit more bonsai like. So something to keep you guys updated on. When pruning escalates quickly, this shit can happen. So yeah, I will keep you up to date. I know it looks drastic, but don't worry, Jades love this shit. Okay, they love to take a good hard pruning, because then they grow back even more vigorous and beautiful than ever. You'll see peeps, the whole world will see, you'll all see, I hope. So moving on. Okay, so this is the twins. This is one of the jade propagations that I started from those small leaf clippings, and I will put some links below if you want to go back and watch that. But he's pretty pot bound, seems happy though. So I'm going to pick away at this mass and get him settled in, because I think this size pot is way more suitable for the size and the roots this guy has. And he looks gorgeous though. I'll give you a close-up when he's in. You can see him properly without him falling over. Yeah, that looks much better. So now he's free to grow a little bit more before I give him his first prune. So I'm not going to touch this one with the scissors, don't worry peeps. But yeah, as I said, I want this one to get a little bit bigger. And then we can start making some pruning decisions. So here we go. Looking fab. Hey, on to the next guy. Okay, so this is the other regular Crassula ovata that I done with the twins over there. Also started from a little cutting. So yeah, again, his root ball is looking mighty happy, so I'm just going to set him in there. And again, I think proportionately, yeah, that looks a lot nicer. It gives him a bit more room to grow before I start chopping. And of course I'll do a video about that when the time comes, because, you know, we're following these plants, so why not? And the more I think about it, you know, I'm going to do this one, but I think, you know what, I said another video, but yeah, we're going to plant these up at the end, I think, because it's a nice wrap up. Why not? It's going to be long enough anyway, so. Oh, there he is doing gymnastics. Okay, so I'm gonna get my 2 hands free and get him in his pot. Okay, so as for this little guy, what we're just gonna do is pop him out, have a look at the roots, because I think he's probably getting undoubtedly root bound at this point. It's not a very big pot, so we're just gonna freshen him up, trim any roots so he can stay in there, because I don't think he poses a risk of toppling over, but yes, while we're at it, we may as well. Okay, so there was a little bit of space at the bottom, but it was basically getting close to time. So if I didn't do this now, I would have had to do this a couple of months, so may as well do it now. But the roots, I kind of set out as radial as possible to do a little bonsai technique on him, which seems to be working. He has a pretty fat trunk that's starting to look woody. That's pretty cool. Again, I started this guy from just a small cut-in, so I'll put a link to the video where I did that. I'm just going to go ahead, pick this up, and maybe what I'm going to do is just going to add a little bit of sand at the bottom there, and just refresh the soil a little bit. Okay, so he's just sitting in there, not really much difference. So now that we've got all those potted up, let's have a look and see what we have here. So these are the cuttings that I took. Sorry, I'm going to just clear some space a minute. Okay, so here are all the cuttings that I've taken from the Hummel's Ghost over there. So what we're going to do is, I think I'm going to split that one into two. I'm going to go ahead and chop them down and try and make them into nice looking cuttings, and I will show you the result. Okay, so these are all the nice cuttings I've managed to get. Those are all the leaves and the other parts that I had to cut, but although you can propagate them, I'm not going to, because one, I'm trying to keep my collection under control and downsize a little bit. Two, you don't have to propagate everything. It's okay to compost some things. So I think the 5 cuttings that I have here are good enough. So I'm just going to get some pots filled, and yeah, maybe they might make some nice gifts, or maybe I'll sell them on the Facebook Marketplace. Who knows? So let's get some pots sorted for these guys. Okay, so I filled 2 pots because something tells me I'm going to need 2 pots. Yes, now I know what you're thinking. Hold up, Lou. Hold up. You've just cut them. Hang on, you can't see that. You've just cut them. They're not even calloused over. What are you doing, woman? Well, you see, I'm sorry I didn't inform you guys, but this is Sparta and survival of the fittest. So, yes, you can. I guess my point is that, yeah, you can wait for it to callus over, 15 minutes, overnight, couple of days, whatever you want. But to be honest, that just increases your likelihood of success. You know, it's not always a guarantee, but it just increases your likelihood. And with me, I'm like, you know what, I've never had a problem with just cutting and sticking them in and not waiting for them to callus over, because what I do is I put them in to their pots like this, but I put them in dry. So I let them callus off in the soil. And then after a few days, I will water them in. And then all is cool. And yeah, it's never really seen me wrong, and especially when I'm doing the stem cuttings like this. I think I'm going to need to remove those two bottom leaves there. But when I'm doing stem cuttings like this, generally the success rate is good as long as you keep the soil dry. I mean, even if you do water straight away, it just increases the chance of rot setting in, and yeah, not all propagation works. So, as I say, this is Sparta, survival of the fittest. So, if you really don't care either way, then yeah, just cut and stick. You know, ain't no shame in it, guys. Ain't no shame in it. So, I'm gonna cut those two leaves off camera, and just pop this guy in like this because he doesn't need any more trimming. Yes, guys. So, after a lot of cleaning up, it's finally done. So they're looking good. I decided to just put these guys in the 3 smaller pots that the bigger jades were in. And I decided to put these 2 together because they look so cute. Yeah, so much for downsizing, huh? Yeah, damn right, we're just too cute. I know you're cute, but you know what? You're all staying outside. You know what? Summertime, you're all staying outside. Bitch. Okay, so little interlude to talk with the plants. So, yes, hopefully they'll all root, and I'll water them in a couple of days and update you on their growth. And this guy here as well. And obviously once these guys start getting bigger and it's time to prune, and this Crassula marginalis starts bushing out, I'll have a lot to show you guys. But these guys here, yeah, they're here for now, but once they root, I think I'm either going to gift them or sell them because I really don't have the space. And yeah, as I said, I've got to keep them outside because space is at a premium. Anyway, peeps, thanks for watching. As always, it's much appreciated. Much love, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.